Hello and welcome back to another episode of the On the Sideline podcast with Jackson and Kyle. I am Jackson, and I'm joined here, as always, by the man who is glued to his TV, Kyle. Kyle, how's it going?
Doing good. It looks like the Packers just threw for a pass interference throw downfield and didn't get the call, so thank God. But doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well as well. So anyone who is joining us here, and we're competing directly with the crazy Sunday Night Football game. We're at the, for anyone listening after the fact, game ran long, so we're late into overtime. The Packers are about to try a 4th down and 6 now as we're going. So we're going to try to podcast, maybe if depending on how this goes, talk about other stuff or talk about the game. A timeout has been called. So Kyle, what do you want to do? Do you want to talk about a different game first? Do you want to start off with this one? I mean, my concern is I don't want to jump into Cowboys Packers and then have like this end up going to the end of the overtime,
Yeah. No, that's fair. We could start with a different game and just catch up as we go. So we can go wherever. The floor is yours. Where do you want to start today?
Okay, well, why don't we go with should we go with how about this? Let's wait and see the 4th down and 6. If the Packers convert here, then we'll go to a different game. And if the Packers don't convert, how does that sound?
All right. Yeah, that sounds good. So they just attempted a pass that was like basically 40 yards in the air, trying to get a pass interference out of it, and it went incomplete. It actually hit the receiver's hand. But I wonder what they go with over here. It seems like, I don't know. I feel like, do they go Dobbs again, or Tucker Kraft's kind of been their guy, but
yeah, I mean the Cowboys have, okay, well, here we go. Love takes the snap, it's zone coverage over the middle, and they do convert the 4th down and 6. So okay, Cowboys keeping it alive. Let's talk about a game. Let's go to, why don't we do like I don't know, like let's do the Dublin game. How about that? Vikings Steelers. I think that's a game that we can pull the plug on early if we have to, but also there's plenty of stuff to talk about. This was a fun game between these two teams. You saw at first, I mean, we saw happy Aaron Rodgers back. And Rodgers was laughing at the sideline, pointing to Mike Tomlin, all of that stuff. The Vikings defense did not create much issues at all with the Steelers until the Steelers essentially said, we're going to just try to punt and play defense at the end of this thing, which nearly backfired. The Carson Wentz led Vikings were able to have a couple nice drives. One of them was just a blown coverage for nearly a long touchdown. The Steelers survive. I think ultimately this was a really good performance by Aaron Rodgers and a really good game by the Steelers, even if they almost blew it at the end.
Yeah, I think you still come away pretty happy with this performance. Your defense played well for what felt like the first time all season. And then your quarterback, I thought, had his best game since week 1, too. So I thought those were both good in that regard. I thought the Steelers kind of made an emphasis to play a little bit of big boy ball in this game. They put Kenneth Gainwell in the backfield, which was a surprise for most because Jalen Warren obviously got hurt. And then they basically threw an extra offensive lineman out there at times. They threw Darnell Washington out there at times. And we're basically just trying to muscle their way down the field and then let Rodgers take his shots. And he took advantage. It was a lot of quick passing. And it just seemed like they went in with a game plan of they did not want to mess with Brian Flores. And it worked really well because that quick passing game, that big running game really caused some problems for Minnesota.
Yeah, I also thought DK Metcalf was a big deal in this game. Obviously, I mean, that's not a surprise because he had like an 80-yard touchdown. But like even outside of that, when they kind of went away from him, it was largely due to the Vikings felt like they couldn't do what they wanted to do of this, heavy blitz and leaving, playing man coverage constantly and leaving him one-on-one all this time. You can't leave him one-on-one because he's dominating, and Aaron Rodgers is doing a great job at throwing the ball quickly to him when you do try something like that. So even though he was quiet in the second half, his impact was certainly, I thought, felt in terms of the strategy the defense had to play for Minnesota.
Yeah, I think that they've maximized their roster in the way they perform defensively, but they just don't have the physical bodies to play one-on-one against a guy of DK Metcalf's caliber. And like you said, in this system, if you're going to leave people one-on-one against him, he's going to burn that. He is going to burn that because he is too big, he is too strong, he is too fast. So it felt like that was a huge impact. I agree. Even with only 5 targets, but he had 5 catches on all those. And then, like you said, that 80-yard touchdown, which was a big chunk of that. But yeah, it was that fact. I mean, the 6 sacks and the 14 quarterback hits in this game. I mean, that part of that is the Carson Wentz special, but like this defense has struggled to stop a lot on a down-to-down basis, it felt like to start the year. So I definitely think they come away from this game like our defense looks like it has its swagger back a little bit.
Yeah, and to be honest, I didn't think Wentz played that poorly. Like you're right. The sacks are always he's never thrown a ball away once in his life. I mean, he's always trying to make something happen. So that's a factor. But even with the 2 picks, they were both batted passes at the line. Kyle, I would lose my mind if I was a quarterback and I threw a pass and TJ Watt just knocked it up in the air and then caught it. That would drive me absolutely crazy.
Yeah. I guess pretty good. Going to the Hall of Fame stuff,
Yeah, probably. How weird is it that there's 2 players? I think I said this before on the podcast, but there's 2 players seemingly in NFL history that have been successful at the batted pass interception, and their brothers, TJ and JJ Watt.
Yeah, they are probably the 2 best at it, at least of this era.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence did it today, but that's that'll be the one time in his career he does that. It happens to some people, but never that consistently.
Yeah, it is very bizarre, but yeah, this Minnesota team definitely has some things to figure out. Like you said, I don't think Wentz played that badly, but yeah, they didn't set themselves really up for success. Their defense felt beatable in this game. Now, was this, could a lot of teams emulate this? I don't think a lot of people have the savviness that Aaron Rodgers does at quarterback, even at his age. And I just don't know if this is going to be replicable, but they definitely showed a roadmap to beating this defense, it felt like, for sure.
Yeah, just checking in the Cowboys Packers game. The clock has just gone under a minute. It is 2nd down. Packers have the ball in the red zone, so down 3, trying for the touchdown to win it. Obviously, could be a tie watch if the Cowboys can get a stop, and that's not going to help. 1st down for the Packers. I think I'm good with this game. Do you want to, even though the Cowboys Packers is going on, do you want to just go here now?
Yeah, we could just jump to it and we'll talk about it while it happens. This was a pretty interesting game. It looked like at one point the Packers were going to run away with it. Then we had that 2-point conversion block field goal. That obviously, that's a big play.
Yeah, so the Cowboys just had it was Trayvon Diggs who made a nice blew up a screen pass. So now it's going to be 2nd and long, and the Packers are out of timeouts with under 30 seconds. Packers really let a lot of clock burn here, which I guess if you kick a field goal, you want it to be a tie and not a loss with Brandon Aubrey on the other side, but you also want to win the game. I don't know. Weird strategies going on.
It is weird, but they also, could just draw up a random 3rd and 10 play for a touchdown like they did earlier in the game. So
that's true. Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not too much of an issue against this Cowboys defense, which is still problematic. But like I said, it seemed like they were going to run away with this game. Then you had that block extra point return for a 2-point conversion. And then you had the fumble. And all of a sudden it was like you blinked and the Cowboys were winning. And I don't think he got off to his best start in this game. And he did still miss some throws, but I think the biggest story for this Cowboys team, if they manage to hold on to win or even pull out a tie here, I think would be impressive, is just how good Dak Prescott is playing this season. And I don't think it's being talked about enough. I mean, I think he was number 1 in EPA heading into this week. And I mean, he's still doing all that stuff. I mean, he's taken 1 sack in this game against Michael Parsons, which was the big talking point. And that was even like a scramble trying to get a touchdown situation. I mean, he's just done so many amazing things in this game and this season to start. He's been unbelievable.
Jordan Love went to the end zone. There is 1 second on the clock. It was incomplete. Are they going to have to just kick a game-tying field goal? I think you do. Yeah, they're going to send out the kicking unit. Wow. So
it's 4th and 14. Yeah. So
the Cowboys. Listen. It's sometimes you gotta play for the tie, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, there was a couple plays when it's 4th down now, but even so, I feel like the Packers kind of had to hurry up some of these plays, and they're lucky. I mean, that was close to being the last second of the game. Yeah. I mean, there was 1 second on the clock. Brandon McManus going to kick the field goal, and they are going to tie the Dallas Cowboys. So we have a tie. Kyle, our first tie of the season.
Yeah, first tie of the season. I wanted to see there's not even celebrations here. This is so funny. They're just shaking hands. I love it. This guy just hit a clutch kick, and he's like, yeah, I guess we have to tie. Yeah. Interesting game for sure, though. I think both of these teams come away I don't know. I think the Packers have to be kicking themselves a little bit. They started up 13-0 in this game. And 1 dumb turnover, which, was a good play. Or actually it was like a lost ball. So it slipped out of his hand. And all of a sudden you find yourself in the hole at half. And then the Cowboys just had all the momentum. And then I mean, this Cowboys offense, like we've said it before, this team is probably not gonna like make a lot of noise this season, but they're gonna play some of the most entertaining games, and they played probably 2 of the 3 or 4 already most entertaining games of the year.
Yeah, thank you to the Cowboys for you know what? I hope that like the other like the Giants as well trade all their good defensive players and just try to be really good at offense too. Like if you're gonna be in all these primetime games, at least be interesting. The Cowboys have certainly done that. You're absolutely right. So again, the Packers looked like they were going to run away with this. They scored 2 touchdowns, but were only up 11 because of how the block field goal went. But yeah, that fumble at the end of the half, which was a weird situation by the Packers, I thought, because there was 20 seconds left. The Packers were out of timeouts, and yet they still elect to try and go and get yards, which I don't know how you're at your own 20. I don't know how you're going to get enough yards to get into field goal range with no timeouts left. They end up fumbling the football. The Cowboys score a touchdown, which was a huge play in this game. I mean, both offenses were great. I thought Jordan Love was great in this game. I know there was the fumble, but I thought that he was. I know it's the Cowboys defense, and everyone looks good against the Cowboys defense, but some of these plays he was making when things weren't open was fantastic. So I've been a Jordan Love hater. Well, I'll eat my words in this game. He was fantastic. Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's weird because this is a tie, but it definitely feels like the Cowboys won.
Definitely feels like that. Yeah, this was a moral victory for the Cowboys. I agree with you. I thought Jordan Love played really well too. I do think it is graded on a curve because we had a guy who just got benched who threw for 400 yards against this team. So I think a lot of people can do this, but no, he played really well. He's done his job this season. Outside of that Cleveland game, I think he has been really good this year. So we'll see if he keeps it up. And then, yeah, I thought both of these quarterbacks were fantastic in this game. And yeah, I mean, the numbers themselves, if you look at them side by side, both of these teams ended up playing pretty even, which was the shocking thing because it was 13-0 to start the game and felt like it was going to be a rout.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. Neither defense, if could get a stop until they both got stops in overtime. I mean, it was crazy where it's like the Cowboys were up 3 points, and then it just kept staying that way where they kept trading touchdowns towards the end. So, I mean, the Cowboys are just going to do this. We know who the Cowboys are at this point. And again, showing that they can hang with some quality teams. They nearly beat the Eagles. I know they had a bad game against the Bears, but they're tying the Packers. For Green Bay, after week 2, this looked like a team that was going to win the Super Bowl. They were dominant on defense, and their offense was still playing very well. Their offense played horrible week 3. Now their defense has a rough game against, again, a very good Cowboys offense, but a Cowboys offense without CeeDee Lamb as well. What do we make of the Packers as a whole right now? Are they still what we thought last week of probably a team that could win it all, but not the team that we're looking at as a top tier team right now?
It's weird, right? Like you said, the performances week to week haven't made a lot of sense. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of correlation here. I thought there was some awful tackling in this game. Especially on the outside. And that was one of the things that I thought this season was surprising was how well the Packers corners had played this season to start the year. Not Nate Hobbs, but the outside corners I thought were guys that I thought that was a big question mark on this team. I thought that was a big question mark on this team heading into the season, and they played well the first 2 weeks. They did not look good in this game, and I thought they really struggled tackling. And there was just a lot of screen passes from both teams that felt like were big gains for seemingly no reason. So I don't really know what to think of it yet, but I mean, 2-1-1. I mean, I still think they're in contention in the NFC, but I think based on what we've seen, I think you have to put them below Philadelphia, at least for the time being. And, maybe we hit the point where everybody's just below Philadelphia right now. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I definitely think that they have to prove more to us before we could say they're true contenders.
Yeah. They got schedule really is easier for the next 4 games or so. Bengals, Cardinals, Steelers, Panthers before they then play the Eagles. So they have some opportunities to get right. I still think this is a really good team, but I guess I would wonder a little bit, kind of like what you were saying with the corners for the Packers of how they look so good weeks 1 and 2. is this just Dallas? But again, Dallas, like we saw the Giants have a really good defensive day, and Dallas ran through them. So I don't know. This is the team that I'm struggling to get my finger on their pulse right now. Green Bay.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting team. I think both of these teams are pretty interesting, honestly. I don't know what happened in that Bears game for Dallas, but they've been competitive in every one of these games. Like, you could argue with me that they're one of the better teams in the NFC. Not contender, because this defense isn't going to win a playoff game, but if they keep scoring like this, I mean, they can absolutely beat anybody and in any given week. So it's been a fascinating season for them, where there was so much turmoil in the offseason. And I think Schottenheimer's done a good job with this offense. And like I said, I think Dak's running it too. I just think it's a kind of interesting team and fun to watch, obviously.
I guess I know we're going really long here just with everything, but I feel like we have to mention Micah Parsons, who did make a kind of a game-saving play towards the end where he stopped Prescott from being able to rush in for what would have been a touchdown. Ultimately did not do a lot else in this. I don't know. I mean, I think the jury is very much still out on if he's going to be the guy to get the Packers over the hump. They didn't get him for September. They got him for January. And I also think, like, for the Cowboys, like, again, it's a bit of a long-term move. They get multiple first-round picks for each of the next 2 years, so we'll see what they can do in that situation.
I mean, this game showed why, again, even if it's not, like, the best quarterback in the world, you pay for a quarterback instead of an edge rusher. You could take the best edge rusher in the world against the 15th best quarterback, and you should always pay the quarterback.
Sure.
And it just felt like that was noticeable in this game.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I figure we should at least talk about that. Let's move on. Let's go to one of the real surprises. Also, our viewership way jumped up once this game ended, as expected. We understand that most people are watching a very entertaining Sunday Night Football game instead of us.
They should watch both.
Yeah,
side by side.
Exactly. Let's talk Ravens Chiefs. This was the marquee matchup coming into this week, and I think you and I both said, let's not overreact. One team has to lose. One team has to be 1-3. Let's not freak out. I want to freak out a little, Kyle. I think there's freaking out is necessary here. First, Lamar played horrible, and Lamar's not going to play horrible every game. He had a really bad game in this one. A really bad interception. Also, he had he pulled a Mark Sanchez and ran into his own offensive lineman and fumbled. So that's not good. So those turnovers weren't great. A really bad intentional grounding penalty on him as well. So all of that. Also, the Ravens are starting 4 defensive players right now due to injuries. So that seems like an issue. The Chiefs look all the way back. Mahomes looks great. Xavier Worthy was awesome. Travis Kelce's able to make these big plays. I mean, again, it helps when you're going up against a AAA defense, but still, they're making good plays. They're looking good. So yeah, I mean, 1-3 Ravens, 2-2 Chiefs. Where do you want to start here?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Like, the Chiefs, I will give credit, played very well. This was obviously their best performance of the season. It felt like a return to form. I also just think a lot of this, I think the numbers, the point total is definitely skewing, I think, the overall performance, I think, of the Chiefs offense, which still does have a bit of issues to me. I mean, a lot of this came down to, they had a 40-yard touchdown drive. They had a 26-yard touchdown drive. They had a 48-yard field goal drive and a 56-yard touchdown drive. There wasn't a lot of long fields working with here. And I think that did play a part in it. But at the same time, I think Mahomes is playing exceptionally well, as he always does. And he's playing I thought he was exceptional in this game. And yeah, I think having that and having some speed in the middle of the field with Xavier Worthy really made this team look a lot better. Is it also the fact of, like he said, all those defensive injuries? Absolutely. But they still were able to get theirs on some really talented players. And, I thought it was a big statement for Kansas City to go out and do that. Yeah.
Are the Chiefs back?
I mean, I don't think they were leaving. I definitely had concerns, but I still have some concerns about them. Xavier Worthy was their leading rusher in this game. They haven't had a running back, I think, lead them in rushing this season. So that's weird.
Yeah.
So they still have some things to figure out, but I mean, they're probably back in our top 3 of the AFC if we're doing our power rankings.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think this was a big. I think if you're a Chiefs fan, you're pumped up about this. Again, Ravens, a team that were favored to win this game. You beat them by 17, and with the Chargers loss, which we'll get to, I think that helps. I don't know. It's weird. The Chiefs have a tough schedule still. The Ravens have a tough couple of games with the Texans and then the Rams. It gets a lot easier after that. But also, again, the Steelers are now 3-1. You're 2 games back. So and we should mention Lamar Jackson left this game with a hamstring injury, which hamstring injuries are those ones where it's like he could play next week. He could be out for months. Like, we just don't know.
Yeah. Or he's going to play uncomfortably for a few weeks, right? So that's definitely something to be concerned about. Like, if he plays, I'm not worried about the Ravens long term. I think they're obviously going to be fine. I know the 1-3 start doesn't look good, but if Lamar's there, I think they'll be fine. But if he's out an extended stretch, then you get a little bit worried. The interesting thing I think for me is that when I look at the Ravens is they just like they've been beaten. I know the last one ended up being a 1-score game, but it feels like they've been beaten pretty handedly these last 2 weeks by teams that they probably view themselves in the same tier in. And I guess, does that change things for how we view the Ravens long term, or at least towards January, assuming that Lamar will be healthy?
Yeah. Well, first we have a super chat saying a freaking tie! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Question mark! Question mark! Hey, ties are fun. I like ties.
Yeah, it was a great tie. Good draw.
Yes, I agree. I mean, yeah, and I would say, the Bills game they kind of blew. They had that one won and blew it. The Lions, to me, was a pretty evenly matched game. The Lions just kind of felt like they had more gas to go to full 4 quarters in. And then this was just a blowout. I mean, I feel similar to like the Chiefs Super Bowl against the Eagles last year, where it was like, okay, the Chiefs are built around their quarterback, and their quarterback is going to make a lot of plays, and they're not perfect around him, but the quarterback's going to make a lot of plays, and then their quarterback played horrible, and then they got blown out. Like, it's like this team is built around Lamar being awesome. If Lamar plays bad, they're going to lose every game, and Lamar played bad in this game. Like, I think that, I think that if they play again, and Lamar doesn't play bad, they'll win. Like, or at least they have a chance to win. So I think that's the issue.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So definitely an interesting game overall, though. But yeah, I mean, like we said, we're not overreacting to one game. But this was a convincing win for Kansas City, and we'll see if they can keep it up.
Yeah, I agree. Let's move on. Let's go to, well, I talked about it, so let's go there. One of the real upsets of the week, the Jackson Dart-led Giants are able to knock off the Chargers. This is a bad week for undefeated teams. Only the Bills and the Eagles remained undefeated. Bills and Eagles remained undefeated. So again, for the Giants, Jackson Dart made some plays with his legs. He also had to go to the medical tent due to getting hit in the head. They had to check that out and make sure everything was okay. They ran the ball a lot. Cam Scatterbo with a 25 carry, 79-yard performance, 3.2 yards per carry. Jackson Dart had over 50 rushing yards as well. And really, it was the defense. Really, Justin Herbert's numbers look awful. I did not think he played that poorly in this game, but there was a lot of drop passes. Again, another couple fluky turnovers with a pick play that went so poorly. The Chargers screwed it up and got called for an illegal pick. And also, they picked the wrong guy on top of it who fell down, and then there was no receiver in the area, and it was an interception. So that wasn't a great play, Kyle.
No, I would probably throw that one in the bin, for sure.
Yeah.
So definitely some struggles there. This is outside of, unfortunately, Malik Neighbors obviously having that devastating injury. He's going to be out for the year, it sounds like, which stings. This is like kind of everything you want for this Giants roster when you drew it up, right? Like, Dexter Lawrence makes a few plays. You have 3 quarterback hits from Kayvon Thibodeau. You had 4 from Brian Burns. You had 5 from Abdul Carter, who I thought was really good in this game. Those guys are just getting after the quarterback. Dexter Lawrence is plugging up the middle, although Amarian Hampton did have a really good day. And then, you have this young quarterback who can make plays with his legs or with his arm, and I thought he played pretty well. I mean, it wasn't perfect, obviously. He had some struggles. He took some bad sacks, but he can make plays with his legs. He can make plays with his arms, and he made a couple clutch plays down the stretch that helped this team win the game for sure.
Yeah. Got sacked a lot in this one, but you're right. There's something to just like I don't know. There is something too, sort of like in hockey when you make the goalie shift and then all of a sudden like the team around on the ice starts playing better. It's like there is something to the mental aspect of it all. Especially when just Russell Wilson was playing horrible, the first few weeks. So, yeah, I liked what I saw from Dart, and I thought the Giants secondary played very well. I mean, this is not what you wanted from the Chargers offense. It felt like the Texans game last year, where it's just like nothing's getting open. They're just not able to move the ball. And also, I will say, like, listen, I get it. Game script wise, I understood it, and they ended up a lot of times finding themselves like in these like 1st and 15s and stuff like that. 41 passes to just 13 rushes when they were going over 10 yards per carry. That, in hindsight, maybe could have had more balance there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely think they need to tweak some things from this game. But like you said, there's a couple really fluky plays. It felt like that kind of flipped a lot of things. But, credit to the Giants. They did play well. I thought the defense played exceptionally well. And they did enough things with their offense. And, the young guys look good. I'm sure long-term they wish Neighbors was out there too. But, you got something here with Scatabo, with Dart, with Abdul Carter. This draft class looks really, really good so far.
Yeah, to play the Saints next week, could get up to 2-3, and then a buzzsaw of the Eagles, Broncos, and Eagles again. And then the 49ers, who have played good defensively. That sucks for Jackson Dart. He better enjoy the Saints.
He's got to throw. You get all of his touchdowns out now. That's the goal.
Yeah, they designed runs with him too. That was fun.
Yeah. I mean, he did a lot of that at Ole Miss too with Lane Kiffin. Like, his legs were a huge asset to that team. So it's not surprising to see a lot of that stuff be incorporated into his NFL game plan. And yeah, I think that there's still plenty to get better at. And he went up against a really, really good defense to start his first NFL game. And I thought checked a lot of boxes though.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. Let's rip off the Band-Aid here. Let's go to my team, who this looked like it was going to be an absolute disaster for the first half of this game. The Buccaneers found themselves down 24-3. Right away, they found themselves down when their offense stalls on the first drive, and then there's a blocked punt touchdown. So special teams continues to be an issue for the Bucs, but also special teams kind of got them back in it with a 65-yard field goal at the end of the half, which is the record for longest field goal in an outdoor stadium, and tied for second longest field goal of all time. They were then able to really, the Buccaneers' run defense really frustrated the Eagles. They were not able to run out the clock the way they typically like to. Saquon, only 2.3 yards per carry on 19 carries in this game. Jalen Hurts was held without a completion in the second half, goes 0 for 8 in the second half. Defense completely smothered the Eagles, and it was still the Eagles defense was holding their own themselves. Quinyon Mitchell was fantastic in this game, and really Baker Mayfield just said, I'm going to have to start throwing the ball down the field. So he got a 70-yard touchdown to Emeka Egbuka, a 70-yard touchdown to Bucky Irving, got them back in it. And unfortunately, it was unfortunately for me, it was a tipped pass interception in the end zone. I think it looked a lot worse because it was a tipped pass. I don't think it would have been intercepted if it wasn't for the tip. Because of that, the Buccaneers did have another chance, but the Eagles defense held on strong. Eagles can beat you in a lot of different ways. Eagles are a really good team, and Hurts made some really good plays in the first half to get them up that big lead. But as a Bucs fan, my takeaway is, in the first half, I was like, man, can we even compete with these top-tier teams if this is how we're playing? Second half is, yes, the Buccaneers can compete with the top-tier teams, even if they ultimately fell short.
And, of course, you have to keep in mind, too, this is Chris Godwin's first game in almost a year because he's coming back from that injury, and then Mike Evans didn't play in this game, and you still don't have Jalen McMillan. So you still don't have all your pieces. You're still working on getting guys back on offense. And I thought they played well in the second half, right? They had the opportunities. They had the bad fumble that set up the touchdown to make it 31-13. And then they had the interception late, like you said, and then the turnover on down. So a couple unfortunate plays there for the Bucs. I don't know what happened with Philadelphia in the second half of this game. Like you said, Tampa's defense did play really well, but they couldn't complete a pass. They couldn't do anything. They literally could not complete a pass. So
yeah, they literally failed to do that.
Yeah, so just a bizarre game overall. It felt like a tale of two halves, but Philadelphia's defense made just enough plays, even if they got some luck in that situation.
Yeah, and even weird where like the Buccaneers weren't getting anything returning wise in the game. Like that part of the special teams was all Philadelphia, and then that flipped in the second half. Like I don't know exactly, something weird happened. Maybe it was the weather. Kyle, there was I'm not sure how much this got to you, but there was a big storyline entering the week of the Eagles. They were treating it like they were going to play on like the sun. Of what they were talking about the weather of they were spending extra time in saunas. They went to Tampa Bay early to try and get acclimated to the weather. You and I are both live in Florida and can tell you that that's not really how it works. You kind of just get hot and that's it. But I also feel like there's something mentally to that for the Eagles of like, it gives you like the camaraderie. It like gets everyone like motivated. I don't know. I kind of feel like there's some mental aspect of it, even if like logically, obviously spending more time in a sauna isn't going to help you in a football game.
No, there isn't. But,
okay.
I don't need any excuse to go to a sauna. So I do like a good sauna trip. So
is Nick Sirianni just a big sauna guy? And God, we got to get acclimated.
Guys, this is work mandated sauna treatment. That's what I say. Yeah, that's exactly what they were going for.
Yeah. Yeah. Eagles definitely took their foot off the gas trying to run out the clock, which is just it's difficult to do. They had some fun plays, a couple of flip passes to Dallas Goedert. They ran the fake tush push, which is fun. Wasn't fun for me, but fun for everyone else. So yeah, I mean, this was ended up being a very entertaining game.
Yeah, it was good. I definitely enjoyed this game for sure. But like you said, there are definitely some things they got to work out. This is how the Eagles play. This is their brand. They get ahead and they suck the life out of the game. I know there's been talk of it not being entertaining, and I get it. There are conversations to have about that. You can have an opinion on it, but they win football games, so they're not going to care. However, it does feel like sometimes you're just setting yourself up to get God, if you will. Like they just they played so well to start the game. It's like, I understand your identity is then like, shut it down and end the game as boring as possible. But you could keep throwing the football and still be successful.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's I think they're still figuring this stuff out with the new play caller. Should Colin Moore just like quit the Saints now and go back to the Eagles?
I'm sure he'd like to.
Yeah, it's just a paycheck thing. I think maybe getting more money probably in New Orleans.
Yeah, that probably helps, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. The Eagles have won 4 games. They haven't looked great yet for a full 60 minutes, but I mean they've beaten some good teams. So like you can't fault that. But yeah, 4 straight one score games. They're the new Chiefs.
They are the new Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs and then became the Chiefs.
It's like Kirby.
I guess so. You just eat them and then you poop them out.
Yeah, now they have it's like the Patrick Mahomes like hairstyle on Kirby's head.
Oh gosh, could you imagine?
Yeah, I think so. Kyle, let's see. Where do you want to go next? Well, I know you want to get to your team before too long, but let's go to maybe a couple closer games.
Yeah, no,
because literally no one else cares about Panthers, Patriots, but you. But we'll give you your time eventually. Let's do Colts and Rams. Kyle, Shane Steichen needs to have a camp for these players to run all the way to the back of the end zone and then start celebrating. You got to get at least 2 steps in, then you can celebrate. Adonai Mitchell, it wasn't quite as bad as the Jonathan Taylor one because he was trying to showboat and he was switching to a different hand and then lost the handle on a ball at the goal line, which ultimately meant that instead of a touchdown, it was a touchback, and the Rams recovered in a game that the Colts ultimately lost by 7 points. He also had a holding penalty that called back a 50-yard Jonathan Taylor touchdown late in the game. The Rams ultimately were able to win on a long pass to Tutu Atwell. His only catch of the game was an 88-yard go-ahead touchdown when the Colts had 10 players on the field for that play. That's not ideal. Ultimately, I do think this Colts team showed they can hang with the Los Angeles Rams. These are 2 very good teams, kind of like we talked about. But yeah, it was the Colts' mistakes that were kind of the difference in this one.
Yeah, they beat themselves in some very key moments. Otherwise, they would have won this game for sure. It definitely felt like that they had opportunities. And like you said, you can't. The fumble thing is goofy. You can't be doing that. You can't have the penalties. And I think that it's a game where I still think you come out okay, and I still think you're impressed with the Colts to start this season. I think they're a good team, and they played a team that I think we all regard as a really good team and went blow for blow with them. And like you said, outside of a couple dumb mistakes, had the opportunities to win it. So I think that they're going to be okay. I'm not worried about it long term. You just got to clean that stuff up. I think they'll be fine. I thought Jones played well in this game, even with the turnovers. Finally got turnovers in his on his resume this season.
Yeah.
Tyler Warren continues to be really, really good on this team too, as just like a safety valve. So I think they're fine. I think if I'm going to question anything about the Colts in this game is he sets like the weirdest career, man, but like we probably shouldn't play Xavier Howard this much, right? Like, especially on Puka Nacua. That would be my thing.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, it's just, I mean, I don't know. Puka Nakua's playing unbelievable. He's at over 500 receiving yards already. We're 4 weeks in. He's on pace for over 2,000 yards. He had 170 in this game. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I also think that it's easier said than done to come up with a game plan to stop Puka Nacua. So far, the Titans did the best job holding him to 91 yards on the season. I mean, this Rams offense is just it's going great, and I don't think it's crazy to say, like, can we put Matthew Stafford in the MVP conversation if we're doing a first quarter MVP?
Yeah, I think he would be in the conversation too. I think if you're going to do your top 5 to 7 of the quarter, I think both of these quarterbacks could arguably be in the conversation.
Sure.
But yeah, I think that Stafford has played really well, and that was the question: is could he get off to a hot start? And it has. I mean, he had that big throw to Tutu Atwell, obviously, at the end. Him and Nacua played well. Devontae Adams has been a big luxury item as well. And yeah, I think everything about this team looks really good right now. They just lost a really dumb game to Philadelphia.
Yeah, I agree. A game they very much could have had. So two good teams. This is the feel good game of the week, right? Like both teams. I mean, Colts, you're like we just didn't beat ourselves. We would have won, and the Rams are like, hey, we won, cool.
Yeah, the Colts definitely have the growing pains to go through, but this team showed that they can. They showed at least they could step on the field with the playoff team and have a chance to win. So I think both of these teams come away okay. And the Rams, they beat a team that was undefeated. That's not nothing.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's go to the Bears beating the Raiders. This was Kyle, there is an epidemic of blocked field goals. We didn't talk about it in the Dallas game, but like this is just, we thought last week was just it. It happens again where the Las Vegas Raiders look to try and kick a go-ahead field goal. There are about 38 seconds left. So if the field goal went in, the Bears would have had a chance to still win. But this was a blocked field goal, even after, Geno Smith had some bad turnovers early on. I mean, the stat line's horrible for Geno. 117 yards on 21 attempts, 3 interceptions. But Ashton Jeanty got going. We finally got to see Ashton Jeanty look like Ashton Jeanty. That certainly helps. And again, this was an ugly game for a while. Both offenses kind of came alive a bit in the second half, although it was kind of consistent throughout. Ultimately, the Chicago Bears move up to 2-2, only a half game back against Green Bay for second in the division. Kyle, what were your thoughts in this game?
Yeah, kind of a weird one. Like, the Bears' first 2 scoring drives were 4 plays minus 4 yards, and then 8 plays minus 1 yard. Like they took advantage of some turnover opportunities to get some field goals. We're down 14-9 at the half. And then, like you said, they put together those 2 touchdown drives. I thought Caleb played much better in the second half than he did in the first half, obviously. I thought he finally started hitting some throws that he needed to. So, yeah, I think that it was a good win for the Bears. I think you could at least come away from this game saying, hey, our defense looked a lot more like itself, what we expected this season. I thought Tyreek Stevenson and Kevin Byard played really well. And then you go into the week, you go out of this week and say, hey, we won a game that we needed to. And, we're starting to look a little bit more like ourselves, even if it's still a long process.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, week 2, we're like, oh, wow, they got crushed by the Lions. I guess their defense stinks. And it's like, now we have enough evidence to be like, oh, no, the Lions are actually still really good. And they had a bad week 1 is what happened. So yeah, I agree. Their defense looks better. Still not perfect. Having your number 1 corner healthy would help. But yeah, much better. They're still not running the ball great in this one. They did try the Ben Johnson fake stumble play of have Caleb Williams pretend to go down, and then like the Raiders were blitzing and like it got blown up, and Williams just had to throw the ball away. So it's still not quite Lions. Great stuff with the Bears, but again, they're 2-2 playing the Commanders on Monday Night Football without. I mean, I guess we'll see with Jaden Daniels if he plays or not. Then the Saints, and even the Ravens all of a sudden feels like that's a winnable game. So, some potential to stay alive here for the Bears in a season that looked over after 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, they got an opportunity to stay alive here. I think they need to go to that other running back, man. DeAndre Swift has been the weirdest running back I've ever watched. Like, I feel like I've never seen someone seek out contact at the line of scrimmage more. Like it seems like I'm definitely not a running back expert or anything, but it just seems like he willingly does not run through holes that are designed to be run through. So I don't get it. I think they need to go to that other running back. But yeah, this was still a step in the right direction. You're 2-2, and you have to feel pretty good about it. And I'm concerned about Geno Smith right now. I got to say,
yeah.
I've been defending my guy. But this has been a rough few weeks. I don't know what's going on here, and we're going to have to sit down and have a conversation.
Are the Seahawks the best team ever at trading away quarterbacks that we think are good?
I mean, they're 2-0 on it right now, so
yeah.
they got something right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're very good at it. They want to if this offseason they try to trade Sam Darnold, don't take him.
Yeah, 2 first-round picks for Sam Darnold. Wow.
yeah. Probably not good. Geno Smith, 7 interceptions to 6 touchdowns on the year. Definitely not what the Raiders were hoping they would get out of him, and it's not all on him, obviously. I mean, the offensive line hasn't been great, and now Colton Miller got hurt on top of it. So tough season for the Raiders, who I thought were going to be at least decent this year. I think you picked them to make the playoffs, and now it's like I don't know, like this is just another wasted year. It's very frustrating.
Very frustrating indeed. Makes that Patriots loss even more frustrating.
Yeah, there you go. Let's move on, Kyle. We still got a handful of games left to talk about. Let's go to, well, you know what? No, let's go to Patriots, Panthers. This is a fine time of the show to do it because, Kyle, I mean, this is, first off, I'm trying to think of the last time that the Bucs lost and the Patriots won on one of these Sundays. But, Kyle, come on. This is a dominant win. The Patriots won by 29 points to a team that won by 30 points last week. So you're basically like 59 points better than the Falcons. Kyle, what were your thoughts on being able to beat the Panthers, who were on a win streak entering this game?
On a win streak, yeah. We beat the red-hot Carolina Panthers. Some would say the hottest team in football. They haven't given up a point in almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it was a bit of a slow start. Didn't love the start of this game. We love giving up early scores now, it seems like, which is not ideal. But we're down 7-0. We're struggling a little bit. Then Marcus Jones has that big punt return, and that kind of flipped everything. We started winning on offense, defense, special teams. I thought our defensive line continues to play really well. But the big story of this game was the offense, which came back to form, which the offense moved the ball really well last week. And honestly, you could argue just moving the ball the last 3 weeks, this offense has been really, really good. And Drake May is starting to impress me a lot. Obviously, it doesn't matter how much you move the ball if you turn the ball over 5 times like they did last week. But this week, they didn't turn the ball over like that. So it looked even better. I thought Drake May played phenomenal. I thought they had a good mix of all these running backs, getting everyone involved. And then Stephon Diggs had his best game as a Patriot by far. He had some big downfield plays that I thought were impressive. So Patriots took their shots downfield. They were smart with the ball, and you got out of here with the win. I think everybody's excited about the way they looked.
Dennis with a super chat saying May's been the second best, or has been the best second-year quarterback this year. First of all, you're saying the second best quarterback this year, and I was like, that's probably a bit of a stretch. Has Drake May been the best second-year quarterback? I guess Jaden Daniels is injured, so he can't be eligible.
Yeah. I mean, based off that, he has to be, right? Like,
I mean, what? Michael Penix has been like incredibly up and down. Bo Nix has had a really rough start to the year. JJ McCarthy got injured and didn't look good. Like he has, but it's not. It's like I remember there was a graphic after Bryce Young's first year where it's like all his stats, and they kept saying it was among rookie quarterbacks, and they kept saying second in the NFL for all the stats, but it's because it was him and CJ Stroud were the only 2 eligible rookies. I feel like that's a bit what this stat is.
Yeah. The bar is not high right now. Bo Nix is also not playing well, so that's another one,
Yeah.
I guess, too. So he has looked good though. I do,
Yeah. Yes.
he's been, I think, top 10 in EPA and PFF grades, I think, for most of the season too. I know it's only a 4-week sample size, but he's doing a lot of really good stuff. I thought he was exceptional in this game. He's building on the right things. He's, there's still that, 10% of the plays that make you just like confused, and like he makes those mistakes, and he's still working to get those out of his game. We saw how much those killed us last week. But I mean, look, I think top to bottom, I think this team is looking good across the board. I think you look at the 2 offensive linemen they drafted this year, Jared Wilson and especially Will Campbell. I think they both look very good. I think Travion Henderson, although they're not using him as much as I think some Patriots fans would like, he's been a bit of a spark in this offense and doing some good things. So along with May, it's a lot of these young guys on that side of the ball. And then, you got Christian Gonzalez back in this game. I think he gave up 2 receptions for like 16 yards matched up against Ted McMillan. And he definitely won that matchup, it felt like. So a lot of good stuff from the young players on the Patriots. And then, it looked really good this game, and I've been impressed with the way the team has looked this season. I think personally, through the first 4 games, I could see this as the 7th best team in the AFC, just top to bottom. I think that this roster is good enough, but they have to get out of their own way. And you look at those 2 games they lost, and that was a young team making young team mistakes is why they lost those games. And that's the thing that's going to hold them back from the playoffs if they don't make it.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's crazy. I mean, again, I'm never going to tell a fan to not hope that their team can make the playoffs. I think that if that's, I think it's possible, especially with, where we're at with this. I mean, they blew out a team that, again, this Panthers. How bad did the Falcons have to feel watching the Panthers just completely flounder for 3 out of the 4 weeks? Kyle, it's a little mean putting Christian Gonzalez on Ted McMillan, right? Like that's a little bit. It's like you have one good thing going, and you're like, oh, we're gonna put Christian Gonzalez on.
Yeah, it's a bit mean, but we needed him back. We definitely needed him back on this defense. Yeah. So I'm glad he was able to get out there and make some plays happen.
Yes. What were your thoughts on the other side of it, of the Bryce Young and Panthers of it all?
I mean, it's still a lot of the same that we keep saying about the Panthers. Like they're asking, when you build an offense around Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, it makes sense that you build an offense around that. They have like maybe the 20th best quarterback in the NFL, and they've built an entire offense around him. He is asked to do so much for this team, and they can't really block for him. I know he only got sacked once, but he also got hit several times in this game. You can't run with him. You can't run the ball really much in general. You did okay in this game, but a lot of that too was also garbage time. And then, I just, there's just not enough here to really get excited about it. I think this offense is a long, long way away. And then the defense didn't play well. This looked like a defense that we said first 3 weeks had at least shown a little bit of something. They got beat up in this game.
Yeah. Well, hopefully for the Panthers, they can maybe get something going. We'll see. They are no longer in second place in the division. Kyle, let's do a guess the lines here. Patriots are going to Buffalo next week. It's gonna be Sunday Night Football. Actually, what the hell are we doing with these Sunday night games? Okay, Patriots Bills will be Sunday Night Football.
That sounds interesting.
Upcoming for some, maybe. Guess the line. What do you think it's at?
Bills minus 8.5.
Oh, nailed it! Right on the money.
There we go. That's disrespectful. We're covering 8.5.
It's what you guessed.
I know. I'm guessing.
You were guessing it was going to be disrespectful.
Yes, I want my boys disrespected. We are going in there for blood.
Okay, well that'll be a fun test.
Buffalo wings aren't even that good.
Well, that's not true.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, let's not get crazy here. Let's move on. Let's go to a few interesting. I mean, they're all something interesting about all these games, but a few close ones. Let's go Jaguars Niners. This was a competitive enough game. I mean, Brock Purdy really hasn't played great. I mean, he's gotten injured. It wasn't clear if he was going to start. Ends up playing. There was a couple of picks. Kyle, you locked up, or no, you didn't lock up, but you picked the 49ers to win this game. And that was before we knew Brock Purdy was going to play. Once he played, it sort of felt like, oh, well, there you go. But no, the Jacksonville Jaguars are able to pull off a victory. Trevor Lawrence continues to I mean, he'll make like a few really good plays, make a couple of not so great plays, but this was really the strength of the run game. Travis Etienne, 124 yards in this one. And I really think Liam Cohen's doing just such a great job with this Jaguars offense through 4 games. Devin Lloyd had a pair of picks here. He was the one who got Purdy both times. And the 49ers are no longer undefeated. The Jaguars, all of a sudden, they're 3-1. They're tied for the division lead. So, interesting game.
Yeah, it's weird because like the best players on the Jaguars aren't the guys you think are playing well, or I guess the preseason best players on the Jaguars aren't the guys playing exceptionally well. But they are winning these games, and this was a complimentary football game. It felt like a lot of ways. Special teams had a big play in this game. They did well enough offensively and had some big plays defensively too. Some big turnovers capitalized on there. ETN's having a really good year. And I feel like that's something that's also kind of going under the radar. He's been one of the better backs in football this season. And I think he's a big part of why this offense is succeeding because, like you said, we're not getting the expected output out of Brian Thomas Jr. I thought this was actually one of Lawrence's better games of the season. And I didn't think he was even that amazing in this game. He ended up 21-31, 174 yards and a touchdown. I thought he was very smarter with the football in this game for sure, and that really helped it as well. But I think ETN's been the one on this team who is making this go right now. I think he has been very, very good at making guys miss, getting in open field, creating long runs, and extending drives that way.
Yeah. I mean, he's been very good. Again, I think Liam Cohen does a really good job of all that stuff, of knowing where to run and what to do in those situations. I think he's very smart with that. He takes what the defense will give. So yeah, I think again, special teams they had a special teams touchdown because every game has a special teams touchdown. Parker Washington, I believe, had one last week as well. So he's a difference maker. And then for the 49ers, the other thing is like these corners are just covering well. These Jacksonville corners are just covering well. And
Yep.
You look at the 49ers, they had over 300 yards passing, but Christian McCaffrey had 92 of those. He was their leading receiver. Jake Tonjes had 58 of those. He was their second leading receiver. So they didn't have a single wide receiver get over 50 yards. And in fact, only Ricky Pearsall had over 25. For a wide receiver. Kyle Juszczyk had 32. So it's like, it's not coming from the outside. So that's part of how this Jacksonville team is playing well. Are they a real threat? How are we feeling? Are they a team that is going to challenge the Patriots for that one of those playoff spots?
We'll see. I mean, they've done a lot right now. And I think that's good. They've been good enough, obviously. I don't know if there's going to be enough explosiveness in this offense to get anybody really excited. But if this defense plays this way and they continue to limit things on the outside and have that corner matchup advantage, they're going to have opportunities. And this defense and this running game can win them games, even if it's not as conventional as we thought it would be with this team. But yeah, I think that they've managed to win those games in that way, and they've been able to carve out some wins there. But we'll see if it continues. San Francisco, I think, is the interesting case, though. They're 3-1. I don't really know what to think of the 3-1 record. They beat multiple divisional opponents, which is important. But like they have one game rushing over 100 yards, and that was week 1. And they ended that game with 3.3 yards per carry. Like, when did we ever think we'd hear a Kyle Shanahan, Christian McCaffrey team not being able to run the ball? I mean, it's a bizarre start to the season for a team that's 3-1. It feels like it's riding high.
Yeah, all three of their games were wonky, and then again, tough stretch here. I mean, you got the Rams. That's the Thursday night game. I mean, that's an opportunity to either get right back and feel great, or kind of like what we saw with the Cardinals, where it's like you lose and now you feel even worse. But like that's a real opportunity to show that you can hang. And then the Buccaneers right after. It's not crazy that they could be 3-3 after that stretch. It's also not crazy. You win one of those two, I think you feel a lot better about yourself. So Purdy just has to protect the football better. It's this offense, and I know the offense isn't what you usually expect from Shanahan, but he has to protect the football better. Things will follow if you do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, well, let's move on. Let's go to there's one more, what ended up being a one-score game today, and then we could do the Thursday game a little bit. Let's talk some balls here against the Falcons. So the Atlanta Falcons offense has struggled this season, but they were able to really find some life. Penix over 10 yards per attempt. Big part of this is kind of what we previewed going in. A lot of good talented players on the outside going up against, a secondary that struggled for the Commanders and seemingly has taken a step back from what it was last year, which wasn't great last year. A lot of players open. Penix did have a bad interception in this game that essentially got the Commanders back in it, but then he was able to continue to score and keep his team up. He just wanted more yards and more touchdowns. If game gets out of hand, I'll have to run it every play. Bijan Robinson had a play where he just I think it was like a wheel route and just ran past the player covering him and ran for like 80 yards. Drake London had a nice pass down the field. They ran the ball relatively effectively and were ultimately able to have a really good offensive day here for Atlanta.
Yeah, really good day. Their best of the season, but it was also a return to form for this team. I know that they weren't amazing offensively in week 2, but they also rushed for like 220 yards in that game, which was impressive. So they've done some good stuff, I think, to start the season. I wasn't overreacting to the game, even though it was bizarre. So I think we could just count up that game last week is probably the weirdest result of the season so far, right? Like either that or it's that Jets Steelers week 1 game. Like those have to be the top 2. So I think we could just throw that out at this point because the larger sample size says that the Falcons are competitive. This offense isn't as disasterful as it looked that game. It was a good day for London. It was a good day for Penix. They needed this momentum and a good day for Kyle Pitts. So a lot of good things going there against a Washington defense that looks very, very beatable.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's just how football works. We know that those kind of weird games will happen, but like when there's only when one happens in the first 3 weeks, it's like, okay, how much do I pay attention to this? That is, it just. When I was watching this game, like the biggest thing is like, how did this team lose 30-0 to the Panthers? I just don't understand how something like that could happen. Again, I think that I still am not fully convinced that the Falcons' offense is fixed, and also like their defense didn't. They gave up 27 points in this game to a good backup quarterback, but still a backup quarterback. So, But ultimately, again, like this is a great win to show that the offense can do this. It is capable of this.
Yeah. Our 3-game sample size of the Falcons says that this team can compete for the playoffs. Whether they get there, we'll see. But they got to limit the games like the one that they had in week 3, because that 1-game sample size looks like an awful team. So we'll see. They got some interesting games coming up too. They're another team with an interesting schedule. They got the Bills at home. That's a tough game. I think that's after a bye week, if I'm not mistaken.
Because we are talking about the Bills playing next week against the Patriots.
Yeah, and then they got at San Francisco, which is a big game for their playoff hopes, and then also the Dolphins, Patriots, Colts. So there are some tests there. It's not going to be easy here, but this team has shown that they can beat good teams.
And after that, they have to play the Panthers too.
Yeah, I mean that's their third loss there. So
yeah, right. So you gotta maybe just rest your starters for that one.
Yeah, get ready for the new one.
Yeah. Let's move on. 4 games left to talk about. Let's do the Thursday night game, which ended up being a really good game. Kyler Murray, I thought, was playing really well through the first 3 quarters, and his stat line just did not show that whatsoever. Partially due to Marvin Harrison Jr. stopping on one route that resulted in the pass going past him and getting intercepted. And it wasn't like a miscommunication. It felt like he just kind of gave up on the route. Marvin Harrison Jr. later dropped a great pass from Kyler Murray, batted it up for an interception as well. So Kyler Murray's thinking, what do I got to do? But he keeps feeding Marvin Harrison Jr., who had he had a touchdown and another couple of nice plays to help set up the other touchdown that got the Cardinals to tie the game. Unfortunately, it was a landing zone issue. They weren't able to kick the ball properly. The Seahawks got the ball at the 40, and Jackson Smith-Njigba, who didn't do a ton until the fourth quarter, ends up with 79 yards, including some really key catches. Darnold has a very nice game in this one. And the Seahawks looked like it was going to be a comfortable win, ended up being a very uncomfortable win, but the Seahawks will still take it, and they're an impressive team now at 3-1.
Impressive indeed. I think the despite the interceptions and all that, I do think that there were some weaknesses shown, or some struggles, I think, at least in the minimum shown from this secondary that we didn't expect. I thought they had their warts, but they managed to make some big plays out of it. And like you said, I think Kyler obviously deserved a lot better than his stat line would show in this game. And I thought he played well. So yeah, I think that there's still a lot the Seahawks could be excited about. This pass rush was awesome in this game. I still trust those guys in the secondary, even if it wasn't their best day overall. So a lot of good stuff there for the Seahawks. This defense looks competitive, and yeah, I mean, I think Darnold has played exceptionally well, and that's a big part of why they're also successful there. He has been really, really good too. And outside of week 1, he's put him in a lot of positions to win games.
Yeah, this is a game with the Cardinals where I'm sometimes just like, can we just like, they're playing cover 2? Can we just like try like a, run it behind your tight end? Like, can we just be smart here? Like, why do we have like, I feel like they were a team that, you know me, I'm not a big, you have to run the ball just because that's what the front is, but like, I don't know. Felt like they could have done that a bit more.
Tried it at least a few times. I mean,
yeah.
It definitely felt like they were scared not having James Conner there.
Right.
And like, I do think that plays a part. Like, he's just been such a big part of this team for a few years now. And yes, I don't think he's a top 5 back or anything, but I think he's very important to what this team wants to do in their identity.
Yeah. Kyler Murray had 41 passes and also 5 carries, so 46 overall plays with him. They had just 12 handoffs. And again, part of that was how the game went in the second in the fourth quarter. I get that. But even early on, it just felt like the Seahawks were taking away the pass and the Cardinals were trying to do it anyway. But hey, it ultimately ended up working out for them. Also, Seattle, I felt like they stopped blitzing in the second half. That was probably a mistake that let the Cardinals get back in it. But either way, a very fun game.
Very fun game. I thought it was a good Thursday night game. So Cardinals got some things to work out here. I think going forward, they should, throttle the Titans because everybody beats the Titans right now. And then we'll see what happens from there. They got some tough games coming up, and we'll see if they can figure out some of their issues, I think, for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. 3 games left to discuss. I guess we can go to might have to do a lightning round here, Kyle. Not a lot of great games. Browns-Lions was probably the one that looked like maybe, I guess Saints-Bills was kind of close too for a bit. I don't know. Browns-Lions was very fun to watch the Lions offense attack this Browns defense. I thought they played very well. They were able to run the ball effectively. Goff doesn't have a great stat line, and I thought he played well. That's not usually my take on Jared Goff. I thought that he was better than his stat line would suggest. Horrible interception. Really ugly interception, but other than that, actually used his legs a little bit, made some plays. Not by rushing, but using his legs to throw down the field. So, Amon-Ra St. Brown made some nice catches. Jameson Williams made some nice catches. And this Browns offense, I mean, it's we saw Dylan Gabriel throw 1 pass at the end of this. I think it's time, Kyle.
It's been time. I mean, if you're respect to our Lord and Savior Joe Flacco, but like, come on, man. Like, you're not playing a rookie because you want to see this guy with his QBR was 12. Like, yeah, just like let's get the youth in there. You've got things going. I still think with this team, with some of the young players, is another team that I think nailed a lot of their draft picks. Get the young guys out there and have your fans be at least a little bit excited for that. You're still going to lose games. Don't worry. You're going to lose plenty of games. Just put Dylan Gabriel out there and get fans excited.
One thing too, I mean, yeah, we saw it with the Giants where it's like, okay, I get that you want to not play your guy or whatever, like, keep him protected, but it's like at a certain point, if you think Dylan Gabriel feels pro ready, right? Like Shedeur Sanders is either going to be like really good or really bad. Like that, there's like I can see why you'd be against maybe throwing him in there. Dylan Gabriel should at the very least give you what Joe Flacco can give you. And I just think it's worth the change. And again, we saw with the Giants how it made them better. So yeah, I don't know. It at least makes the season. You're not wasting a season. It feels like if you do that.
If they wanted to play a veteran all season, they should have just re-signed James. Because win or lose, it's going to be entertaining. Like that's just that's what you get, and this is just not entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I'll say, like, this is a team that last year we kept saying, why are we still going with Deshaun Watson? Why are we still? And they kept playing him. Like, either they're really loyal to their starter, or maybe we're not being smart here. Maybe they're, you know what? And I'll say this too: if you want to tank, okay, then throw in Shedeur Sanders because either he's going to be good and you have a quarterback, or he's going to suck and then you can, then you can get a good draft picks that way.
Well, I say play Dylan Gabriel for the fans. You play Shedeur Sanders for Mel Kiper and get him excited.
That's true. Yeah, it's always important to make decisions to help make Mel Kiper feel excited.
Yeah, and you get the Twitter clicks, so that's that.
Yeah, I think Gabriel's probably going to end up playing. Quinshon Judkins, I know his numbers aren't great, but given that he's the whole offense, I like what I've seen from him.
I like what I've seen from him. Like I said, I know he only had 2 catches in this game, but I think Fannin Jr. is something at tight end.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to them putting Njoku on the trade block. Honestly, I think they'd be able to get something for him
Yeah.
because they got a good tight end that's young and in the wings there. So I like both of those guys. What's the linebacker's name? He's got like the German name. I like him too.
Schlesinger. Carson
yeah,
Schlesinger.
yeah, I like him. So I think that they got some good stuff here.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the Browns are moving in the right direction, but their offense sometimes isn't always moving in the right direction.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, they're going backwards, so that's fine.
Yeah. Saints Bills, the scrappy Saints, with the exception of the Seahawks game, continue to play some entertaining games. I mean, this is one where it was actually a competitive game up until it was a Philly special turnover by Chris Olave throwing an interception on what was a great interception that kind of allowed the Bills to ultimately run away with this. But yeah, the Saints continue to find ways to stay competitive in these games somehow, which I don't. Hey, give them credit. Josh Allen only throws the ball 22 times. James Cook rushes 22 times. That's almost my other thing is like, I get it. And maybe it's just, hey, you're playing the Saints. Let's not have any issues. Let's keep things simple. Again, similar to how I feel about Philadelphia. I get that you want to run out the clock. You're still allowed to let your good quarterback play football.
Yeah, they've also scored 30 or more in every one of their games.
Sure.
So they got things going there. It does feel like they're bored at times, and we'll see, as the competition gets a little tougher in some of these games. It seems like they'll be ready to unleash the offense. I would like also to see Josh Allen throw and be more aggressive in some of these games. And, it seems like they're pretty content not doing that and just making sure he's ready for those big ones. I'm still deeply concerned about this secondary for the Bills. Like, this wasn't like an overwhelmingly bad day or anything like that. Spencer Rattler was in the Gabbert zone in this game, but like, they're not getting a ton of stops on the outside. They're just not. And I know Hairston was supposed to be a fix for that, but it is a rookie corner. You don't really know how that's going to work out. And I mean, I just continue to say with the Bills, like, I don't think they've stopped team. The secondary has not stopped teams since like week 8 last year. I don't think it's been a good secondary in a long, long time. I think this is a team that I think has to be aggressive in the trade market. I think they need to go get somebody on this team. I like Christian Benford a bit. I like Teron Johnson a bit, but they really need a corner on this team.
Yeah, and that does feel like a position that weirdly every now and then it does happen. They traded for Rasul Douglas back in the day. Like I wouldn't hate it. But again, I think they drafted Maxwell Harrison in the first round because they like him. So yeah, if it's available, sure, totally do it. But So someone says in the chat, Saints are the leaders for the Arch Manning sweepstakes. Is that the sweepstakes still?
I don't know enough, honestly. Like, he hasn't looked that good. I don't know if he's going to be. I wouldn't put him on my pick for number 1 right now. But it's a long season. We'll see.
Yeah, so it says Jackson wants Allen to score 40 a game. Apparently, no. I'm just saying. I felt like the lack of aggressiveness allowed the Saints to stay in this game a little bit. I'm nitpicking. They won by 12. But like this, if you watch this game, this was not like it felt like it was like, wow, it's weird that the Saints are still in this.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely is it's a weird thing. I think it's fair to be a little concerned by it, but at the same time,
they won by 12. They're 4-0. They're the Bills are the favorites in the AFC. The Eagles are the favorites in the NFC. I don't know. There was no way they were going to be impressive playing the Saints because no matter how much you win by, people would say, "Oh, well, it's just the Saints."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The Saints, that's basically how it is. But they'll continue to struggle this season, and people will say the Arch Manning sweepstakes, which would be funny because obviously the Manning heritage, the Saints. Yeah. But then everybody will get disappointed when they draft Caden Proctor, and that'll be that.
Yeah. All right, Kyle. Titans Texans. I'm sure you could do an hour on this game.
The Titans suck.
Yeah, they're bad. They're a bad team.
That is my analysis. That is a bad football team. I actually kind of like the rookie receiver they have, the Aominer, or I think his name is.
It's tough.
He's
He needs to do like what like those like actors will do when they change their name. Like he needs to just be like, I'll look like Manor or something, you know.
Huh. Didn't Leonardo DiCaprio say on like the New Heights podcast, which is a ridiculous sentence as I say it coming out
Yeah.
of my mouth?
Mhm.
Didn't he say on that they asked him to change his name because it was too difficult to pronounce?
I think so. Yeah. I think I also
Just
wanted to go
be
by like Lenny.
Yeah, just be the best receiver ever, and then everybody will remember your name.
That's
That's
true.
the solution. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that is a
We
good
all-
movie, by the way. That was also my takeaway from the weekend. Go watch one battle after another.
Oh yeah, fantastic. We should talk about that movie instead of this game.
Yeah, that was. I mean, some of the shoots in that, the filming, the camera shots were amazing. The score was fantastic. The acting was fantastic. I'm a big fan. I think that's going to win a lot of Oscars.
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna the road scene. I mean the at the end, just unbelievable.
You just know someone was driving through some random road, like from LA to Vegas, and just like pissed at the road, and then they decided that's going to be their scene for the movie.
Actually, apparently what happened was they changed the ending because they were location scouting and they saw that road and they're like, Paul Thomas Anderson's like, oh, I have a better ending now because of this road.
That's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
That is so good.
Yeah. Okay. So Kyle, that's our show. Let them know where you can find us on Twitter before we head out.
Kai's upset. I'm sorry, Kai. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. That is at Jackson Kruger. No, just kidding. No, let's talk about the game for a second. CJ Stroud played much better, so there's that.
He did.
I don't know what to think of this team. I mean, they got the offense struggled a little bit in the first half, and I was really concerned again that it was only 6-0. But Stroud looked good in the second half. This Woody Marks Nick Chubb duo I thought looked pretty good. Nico Collins has had a couple games to return to form. So you went in there and you did what you had to do. This Texans defense is very, very good. It's played very good all season. So I'm not worried about that. But I still think I need to see more for the Texans to buy back in right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a get right game. Like you won 26-0. You couldn't have done better in this game. This is exactly what you were hoping for. They play Baltimore, which is another like loser leaves town game kind of feel. If you can win that game, certainly it feels like you can start to climb your way back up. Also, then there's another they have a bye week, and then they're playing the Seahawks at 10 p.m. again. We're still doing these 10 p.m. games. Can we not do this for us in the East Coast? But yeah, I mean, huge win for them. I mean, it's exactly what they needed. Daniel Hunter had a pair of sacks. He's still a very good player. So we'll see how this goes.
Tough schedule. Yeah, this is a really tough schedule. I'm looking at it. Like Ravens aren't easy. I know they're 1-3. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Seahawks, 49ers, Broncos, Jaguars, Titans, Bills, Colts, Chiefs, Cardinals, Raiders, Chargers, Colts. Like there's not a lot of breaks there. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it's a rough one. So that's part of why being down the way they are right now, and to kind of a couple of those games that let slip through their fingers really all the first 3 weeks are it's an issue. They've dug themselves in a hole. This is the first step in digging themselves out of it. Kyle, guess the EPA, Cam Ward.
Minus 16.
You were right around it. Minus 15.2. Yeah, not the worst game, but given what did he have? 26 dropbacks. It's not ideal.
Yeah, that is not the best game either, I would say.
No, Tony Pollard had a nice run.
Yeah, he did. There's that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is our. Does Calvin Ridley get traded for like a 5th round pick? Or no, he has a contract. He can't get rid of him.
He just got paid. Yeah. I still think Tyreek Hill's probably going to be the one to get traded. But what a bizarre thing that was. He had a 1-year breakout after getting. It wasn't even the contract year. It was after getting the contract that he had the year, and then stinks the rest of the contract. I don't get it.
My take is I think Tyreek Hill should go to the Cardinals. No one's talking about this. This is perfect fit. Marvin Harrison can be a 2 now. You don't have to try and force the plays around him. Kyler and Tyreek Hill, that feels like a dream fit. That's perfect, right?
I do like that one. That is good.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Kyle, how are the thoughts on we got Red Sox Yankees coming up?
Sox Yankees this week. I'm going to be stressed. We'll see how it goes. I don't love that we're now getting them when they're at their hottest point of the season. They're playing really well. But, there's still things I think I could be a little excited about for the Red Sox. First of all, just making the playoffs for the first time in 4 years is nice. And then, we have our best 2 pitchers lined up to play games 1 and 2. Their best two pitchers are lefties. We've hit lefties better all season because we have best lineup involves our righties. So we have chance. But, best out of 3 in Yankee Stadium against a team that can hit home runs is always difficult.
Yeah, and that's got to be a bummer, though, of it was like the Lightning the past 2 years, like making the playoffs only to lose to the Panthers has been like really annoying. Like I feel like you have this great season, losing to the Yankees round one would definitely put a sour taste at the end of it, even if it is ultimately a good season.
Yeah, it definitely would be a bummer. So I'm not excited for that. But let's see how we do first. I think we still got a chance to beat these guys. I think everyone's writing us off because the Yankees are hot, and maybe they will, but I don't know exactly what this team's going to be. Obviously, they're missing their best player, which doesn't help. But I think once you're in October, anything can happen. It really does feel like that is the case. But I think right now I'd probably go with the Mariners to win the AL. That team looks really darn good.
And can I just also say, can I do my annual complaining about the MLB playoff format of listen, if you want to reward the division winners, I'm totally fine with that. That's cool. As a NFC South team fan, no issues there. But the fact that the Mariners, who have the 2 seed, get the easier matchup than the team with the 1 seed, and this is how it works every year. Is the 2 seed is better than the 1 seed? How have they not fixed this?
Yeah, it's bizarre. Like I don't get it. It's also weird. The division thing still pisses me off. I mean, we have our 3 seed who's going to be lower than our 4 and 5 seed record wise. And they're getting a home field advantage series while we're not. Obviously that's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just the format itself has just been so weird with this expansion. We wouldn't have made it this year, of course. So I can only laugh at myself, but I was perfectly content with 4 when it was 4,
Yeah, or just I don't know, maybe have more than just a 2 out of 3. Can we get longer series in here? I hate those shorts. I get that it's tough because there's bye weeks and all that, but I don't know. Baseball, I just hate how it's the longest playoffs, and then they sprint to the ending.
Oh, longest season than sprint to the ending.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is they did all this so they can make the ALDS or the DS series best of 7, but they do this best of 3 now before it. It's so weird. We got some good series though. We're gonna have some good playoff teams. I think. I still think the 3 teams in the National League are the favorites, but we'll see what happens.
Let's go Mariners. Come on. Let's see if the Mariners can do it. Playoff Randy. Kyle, let them know where you can find us on Twitter before we head out.
Yep. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. That is at Jackson Kruger. Make sure to follow me at by Kyle Grondin, and make sure to follow the account page at On the Sideline JK. That is at On the Sideline JK.
Of course, if audio only podcast, anywhere you get your podcast, search On the Sideline Podcast. It'll be available there. We'll be back Wednesday to, Kyle, if we have to move the schedule around with the Yankees Red Sox, let me know. We can try and work around that. But we should be back as of right now. I expect to be back Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, our normal time, to preview Week 5. We've got bye weeks here. No longer previewing 16 games.
No longer previewing 16 games. We may need to work out the time there, but we'll figure it out and get back to you guys.
Yeah, I'll put something on the community notes poll if a tab if it does change. So let's keep a lookout for that. But Kyle, that's it. Let's get out of here. Thank you to everybody for watching or listening. We do appreciate it. And until next time, have a good one.
Peace.